You're basically playing a game against your own mind. Every person here is playing. It's almost like, the Matrix, blue pill, red pill. There's a lot of truth to that. You just wake up. Life is very illusory. It's very good chance some of the smartest people believe in multi-dimensional realities, whether it's Elon Musk, Stephen Hawking, multi-universe theory. I'm not going to get too far into it, but I will say that you basically are playing this video game against yourself. And characters are getting dropped into it, and the environment changes, like the recession, there's Trump, there's this, and people get all bent out of shape. They're like, Trump's the president, the world's ending. And I remember when Obama was the president, all the people didn't like Obama. It was the worst president ever. And then before that, Bill Clinton. It's just, so you're playing this video game where really all that matters to you inside your brain is that you like your life. Right? So you're like, and then part of the game is to inject this distraction. It's like, oh, you got a new president. Well, you watch the news enough, there's always a distraction. In fact, you can be sure that the world will end tomorrow. How many times have they predicted the world's going to end? And I'm not saying there's not environmental damage. I own farms, there's environmental damage. I'm not saying there's not global climate change. There's all those things can be happening, but that's not the game you're playing. It's a very individualized game. You're born alone, you die alone. You ask people who die, you don't die in a kumbaya group. Everybody faces their death, their maker, one-on-one. And you come into the world one-on-one. Even if you're a twin, you come in, like Dwight Schrute said in The Office, he's like, when I was born, they found that I had eaten the fetus next to me. Do you remember that? He's like, I grew into a bigger, stronger person. So you play that video game, and what I'm telling you is inside that video game, there's rules of how it works. And the rules change, so it's like a dynamic game. It's like a very advanced video game. That's this thing we call life. And in it, there's things like regret you have to deal. So like regret comes in and you go, oh, I should have already gotten past that phase of the video game, but I'm behind. And so regret comes in and becomes fuel to push you forward and things like that. But it's still a distraction because the regret is the past is gone, so really only the present's a reality. The future's a dream. The past is like a ghost that haunts you, and you just have reality. So in the game, once again, you have the distractions that pull you away, and then you come back to it. Done. But what I will tell you is, for whatever reason, whoever made this video game, whether it be God or whatever you believe, I don't like to touch on those subjects because there's a lot of semantics and everybody's kind of saying similar things, but getting mad at each other. What I'm saying is, in that game, I can promise you this. There are 4 main elements you have to navigate in that game for the subjective reality. And it is subjective, okay? But you still want subjective happiness because the opposite is objective pain. So I'd rather be a madman. In fact, some of the greatest thinkers of all time, Nietzsche was one of the great thinkers of all time, for sure. The German philosopher. And he went insane. At the end, they found him, dancing with a horse. But I can't say that somebody who works at Walmart, sane, is subjectively any happier than him. He was probably happy when he was dancing with a horse. I'd rather be a crazy Nietzsche than a depressed worker. And I'm not making fun of you if you work at fast food. I'm saying you got to get past that fast food. That got to be a phase in your life that you look back and you go, oh, I had to work at a fast food place. But then I built my skills. So you're in the video game. Distractions are being thrown at you. The object of the game is subjective happiness, okay, which differs from people. For me, I'm subjectively happy when I travel a lot. My business partner, Alex, he does not like to travel. You see me traveling every week. He likes to stay in one place. So we have every video game has a different subjective goal. My subjective goal is my version of happiness. So how do I get there? Well, you have tools. Like if you play Call of Duty or any video game, you have like weapons. It's like, this is the tool that I use for this point. This is the tool I use for this point. I got the shotgun when I'm inside the house. Whatever. If you're building the old Sim game, you're building the house, you have a hammer. So you need 4 core tools. And those are the tools that help with health, wealth, love, and happiness. So you're moving through this game, reaching subjective, and there's like, you're walking, it's almost like you have 8 legs, and you're walking towards 4 paths. You're not even a human being in this video game I'm talking about. You're like a multi-dimensional creature. And you know why people aren't happy? Because you can't play a multi-dimensional game with one dimension. That's why celebrities who have wealth, they got celebrity status, they're the most fucked up people in rehab and depressed and all that. Because in their subjective, they forgot there's 8 legs. You got to be walking down that wealth one, the celebrity side, but you also have to keep your health up. You can't just become a crackhead like a lot of people become. And you see famous people die of heroin and this and that, and you see great artists pass away quickly. Look at Elvis, one of the greatest artists. Look at Prince, because they didn't walk down the game right. So they were winning in that video game, moving towards the goal, but there's 4 paths and there are 8 legs, so only like 2 were walking forward and 2 were going backwards, then you lose the game. It's a weird game. This is weird. Some of you will not understand what I'm talking about. And some, like this guy, Andy Scheinberg, goes, "Tai, I already know all this." Okay, Andy, you are the enlightened being. Well, let's call Andy Scheinberg is the inventor of the game. He is God. He understands everything I'm saying. And so you move through this game into, this is my version. Andy Scheinberg has an alternate godlike understanding of life. But you're moving down these. But how do you move down them? Well, every one of those paths with 2 legs, 8 legs, you need like a different set of shoes. One's rocky, one's sandy, one's muddy, and one's concrete. You need different tools. And those tools, so now you got 8 sets, 8 feet. And now the game's getting more complicated. And so what do you see in the world now? You see people falling off. They're winning in this, they're winning in that, and then they start falling off because they only have 6 of the shoes on the 8 shoes you need in this video game called Planet Earth. And so as you do that, 6 shoes don't make you don't win. You don't achieve subjective happiness. And make no mistake, the goal of all humans is happiness. Some people pursue it through cruelty, dictators, but they're doing it for the same reason that people give to charity, deep down in their own demented way. Hitler felt he was doing the bidding of God. He was demented. That's why I said it's subjective reality. In his mind, it was like we were cleansing and creating the massive Aryan race. That's what he thought, and he thought he was doing God's work. So, by the way, that brings up another thing. You got to make sure that your your objective and subjective reality are not distorted by traumas. And so, this game of life. That's why sometimes people hear me. They're like, "Tai, give me the easy answer in life." And I'm like, it ain't easy. This video game gonna take attention.